is where we're going to start. What does circumference mean? You guys remember? Circumference of a circle is what? Go ahead, Kate. Okay, you're right. It is pi d. But what does circumference actually mean? What are we talking about? When I say you're going to find the circumference of a circle, what am I actually talking about? Exactly.
The perimeter.
Yeah, circumference is another word for perimeter. Okay, so circumference is the distance around a circle. The distance around a circle. We're on page 5 of your packet. Okay, circumference is the distance around a circle. Now, in order to talk about circumference, we need to remember a couple of things. Okay, the radius of a circle is this line right here. It goes from the center to the edge. Okay, that's the radius. We usually just call it R. The diameter of a circle goes all the way across. Okay, that's that line. That's the D. How many radiuses does it take to make a diameter? 2, right? If you have 2R, you get 1 diameter. Everybody agree with that? Okay. So we have to recognize that if I tell you the radius of a circle is 4, can you tell me the diameter? If the radius of a circle is 4, what's the diameter? Okay, now look at your circle. If this distance is 4, what's this distance? How many radii does it take to make a diameter? It'd be 8, right? You have to double it. So if the radius is 4, the diameter is 8. If the radius is 7, the diameter is what? Really? 14. It has to be doubled to get the diameter. Okay, what if we went backwards? What if I told you the diameter is 18? What's the radius? If this whole distance is 18, what's this much of it? 7. 9. Okay, so the radius is half of the diameter. The diameter is double the radius. Everybody agree with that? Okay. So, to find the circumference of a circle is pi times the diameter. We're going to just focus on this. Okay, this is our formula for circumference. Okay, C equals pi times diameter. Now for pi, this number pi is a number. It's actually a really long number. Okay, but we are going to think of pi all the time as 3.14. Okay, I know that most of you have a calculator that has a button for pi. And if you press that button, it tells you that pi is 3.141592654, blah, 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 blah. Pi goes on forever. We're not using that button. Okay? For the sake of us all getting the same answers all the time, right? It's helpful if we can all get the same answer. We are going to use 3.14 for pi. So you have to be using 3.14. Okay? So let's try this. Okay, we're going to find the circumference of a wheel with a diameter of 50 centimeters using 3.14 for pi. So step 1, write the formula. Circumference, C, equals pi times diameter. That's our formula. When I'm doing these problems, that's what I'm going to start with. Okay, what should I replace pi with? Pi is 3.14. And the diameter of the circle is what? What's the diameter? It tells us. A wheel with a diameter of, Caleb, 50. So we're just doing 3.14 times 50. And you get 157 centimeters. So the circumference is 157. Yeah, that's pretty easy, right? I think so. Okay, let's go to the next one. A plate has a radius of 15 centimeters. Find the circumference of the plate. Okay, start with the formula. Everybody write this down. C equals pi times d. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Okay, we already know that pi is 3.14. What's the diameter in this case? Does the problem tell us the diameter? No, it doesn't. It tells us the radius. So right now, I know the radius equals 15. If the radius is 15, what's the diameter? If this much is 15, what's this much all the way across? Tyler? 30. Okay, so I'm going to put 30 in for D and then do my multiplying. 3.14 times 30 is 94.2. And it would be centimeters. So the circumference is 94.2 centimeters. Okay, we're going to round to the nearest tens all the time. Questions there? Okay, flip the page. I think we are going to... We're going to skip the next problem. So cross out the one that says challenge. We don't have to do that one. Okay, so cross that out. And we are going to go to area of a circle. Hey, Mr. Anderson. Oh, sweet. Thank you. Okay, so for area of a circle, there's only one formula, right? Just like circumference is C equals pi times diameter. This time, the formula is area equals pi r squared. Pi times radius squared. Okay, so therefore we have to use the radius each time. You're not always going to be given the radius. Sometimes they're going to give you the diameter. So if this was your circle, and they're pointing at this line and the diameter is 10, that doesn't work in my formula. Because the formula is area equals pi times radius squared. So if the diameter is 10, what's the radius? What's the distance from here to here? Here, look. 5. So the radius equals 5. Okay, so we replace pi with 3.14. And I'm going to put times 5 squared. Okay, we have to follow order of operations. What is 5 squared? What does that mean? And please remember, it does not mean 5 times 2. What does 5 squared mean? Really? Right, 5 times itself. So you can do that on your calculator if you have a scientific calculator. You can, the squared, 5 squared, means you're doing 5, and then this button, and then the 2, right? Or the squared button. Or you could just do 5 times 5. 5 squared, and you can probably do that in your head. 5 squared is 25, and then we have to times that by 3.14. So the area of this circle is 78.5 centimeters squared, or square centimeters. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, let's try just two more. So the area of this circle, we're going to start with the formula. Area equals pi times radius squared. Okay, always start with the formula. What's pi? Shout it out. 3.14. What's the radius of this circle? What's the radius? Remember, is this the radius? No, because it's going all the way across, right? We want the radius, and the radius only goes halfway across. So what's the radius of that circle? Tyler, go ahead. 10. Okay, so times 10 squared. Whoa. Okay, follow order of operations. Do 10 squared first. 10 squared means 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. And then 100 times 3.14. You should get an area of 314 inches squared. Questions on that one? Okay, let's look at the last one here. Again, starting with the formula. Area equals pi times radius squared. Pi is 3.14. What's the radius of this circle? What's the radius of the circle? Cassie. So the radius goes from the center to the edge. What's the radius? It'd be 12, right? Because this line only goes from the center to the edge, it has to already be the radius. So the radius is 12. Okay, what's 12 squared? 12, or 12 times 12. Yeah. 144 times 3.14. And I got 452.16. But we're going to round to the nearest 10. So 452.2 feet squared. Okay. And then we're going to cross off the last one. We're not going to do these. We're going to save those for another day. Okay, we're going to focus only on the basics today. So that's where we're going to stop today. Okay, questions there?